Welcome on back, everybody, to episode 139 of Streaming with the Mouse, where today got a 2-for-1 episode for you. We're breaking down episode 3 and 4 of Marvel Studios' She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Sit back, relax, this is Streaming with the Mouse. Welcome on back, everybody, to episode 139 Streaming with the Mouse. My name's Cam Ramos, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, my co-pilot, the person that's probably most excited that a Percy Jackson first look happened yesterday. Cliff, say hello, nice people.
That was more than a first look. That was beautiful.
Nice little teaser there.
That was absolutely gorgeous. Dropped a gorgeous A+. I had to wear the hat. I mean, Disney Plus Day, I think, was Friday.
Yes.
It was Friday, and then it went into D23.
No, Thursday, but yeah,
Thursday,
same thing.
And then Friday, Saturday, and today is D23, so it works all together as this incredible long weekend. Yeah, I wish we were talking about D23. We're going too soon.
Yes, there's tons to talk about.
But we owe it to She-Hulk. We owe it to Jennifer to talk about her show because it's been enjoyable. I think that's the best way we're going to talk about it. Is it's enjoyable. Yeah. I want your two outside of things from D23, your two gut reactions, your two hot takes, or just say it before without any explanation or a little explanation before we talk about it later.
In regards to this show?
In regards to anything for D23. We'll give a little teaser for the later
Charlie
episode.
Cox is a god.
Well, yeah, that's
among men. And
so is D'Onofrio.
Yeah, you only gave me two options, and I didn't want to use both of them on that one. Tales of the Jedi is chef's kiss. I don't think this is going to be. Here's my hot take. I think out of everything that's coming for Star Wars to Disney Plus, I am most excited for the Count Dooku Tales of the Jedi episodes.
That's not a hot take. That's actually.
I'm so excited. I love that we are going to probably see the turn, and I'm pumped for that. But Cliff, let's get to it.
I get my two hot takes.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Let's see. My first one is on a large scale for what it usually is. Marvel has been underwhelming in its announcements at the big events. I thought Comic-Con, because we kept doing it, we're going to wait and see all the big stuff at D23. Now we're at D23 and no Fantastic Four announcements. We still got some really interesting stuff, but it's all stuff we knew. It's so much stuff that I said hot take.
But you're just saying underwhelming at D23. You cannot say Comic-Con was underwhelming.
I'm saying announcements. D23 was very underwhelming.
Okay, fine, but not Comic-Con. Comic-Con was...
Yes, Comic-Con had
They gave us a kitchen sink. Okay, just making sure. Yes.
But D23, we kept being like, we're going to get bigger stuff at D23. I'm more than to blame the leakers for that, because they all try these crazy hot takes and then lay the biggest egg possible. And my other not hot take, but I'm very excited for, is Amon Esfandi is going to be our Ezra Bridger in Ahsoka. And I gotta say, he looks the part.
Yeah, he does. It's a great casting.
Looks like he's going to be absolutely perfect for it. We've been told, Jon Favreau said that this is Dave Filoni's masterpiece, is Ahsoka. High praise. So I am very excited for Ahsoka whenever we get it. And just as a cheap shot, Mando Season 3 looks beautiful. Throwing that in there.
Well, since I'm throwing one in here. I'm the Marvel guy in this podcast.
You are.
Werewolf by Night looks terrible. I am not.
Really?
I thoroughly think it looks so dumb. I know what they're going for.
It's supposed to be dumb.
I know. I don't give a crap, though. The fact that I'm going to have to waste however long of my time, I hope it's just I hope it's like a 45-minute thing. It's in and out, and I'm just done with it, because I know I'm going to watch it. It looks so stupid. It looks so dumb.
And you can quote me here. I cannot wait because we're going to talk about Nightmare by Wolf in our Halloween podcast, our yearly
Werewolf by Night.
Podcast.
Werewolf by Night.
And I cannot wait for Cam to be like, it was one of the best things I've watched in so long. It's so Halloween. It's so great.
It's too artsy for me. It's too artsy.
Wait. I'm very excited for that, for the flip flop. But it's nice. I'm excited to see you're starting from a bad point of view to go to a good point of view.
I hope. Okay. Let's do it. Episode 3 and 4, quick programming note. So we're combining these two episodes together. I don't know if we'll go through this going forward. The next episode will definitely be episode 5 and 6 together. I do have a trip to Arizona this upcoming week, so we'll be combining episode 5 and 6 together in one podcast recap. We'll see if we do 7, 8, 9, how we do those last 3 episodes. But episode 3 and 4, your top 5 between these episodes combined. You can do all 5 in 1. You could do 4 in 1, 3 in 2, whatever you want to do for combos. Just don't do 5 in 1 because that's 6. So, Cliff, starting off with your number 5, and this is going to be for episode 3 of Marvel Studios She-Hulk, The People versus Emil Blonsky, and episode 4 is This Not Real Magic?
Yes. My number 5, I'm going to go with something just as a general to the show that I think was very apparent in 3 and 4, and it's just the overall feel of the show. It really is going for just... It feels like mini comics all in one. Like these, like people don't understand. Like some comics, yes, get very dark and gritty. So many comics are like, especially the old ones, are very stupid. It's like, oh, Batman saves a cat from a tree, like blah blah blah. And these ones are just so like they're in itself while working towards a bigger plot that we obviously find out at the end of 4. But all of these are just like, why is a superhero dealing with this? Like, why is she doing this? She's representing Wong against some guy that's using magic against that Wong just doesn't like that he's using the magic for. And the same thing, like, oh, someone is pretending to be Megan Thee Stallion and extorted a guy for $10 or $50,000, whatever it was. And it's just all these so stupid things. And you're like, why is a superhero dealing with this at all? Like, what's the point? Why is there a reason? And I actually like find myself laughing out loud with some of these jokes because I'm like, you just don't expect it. Like people, this is the show that people on Twitter have been pretending what Marvel has been for the last 3 years.
Correct.
Ever since Endgame.
Correct.
This is the show that people think every single Marvel thing is like, and it's not. But I really like, this is the show that's really the middle finger to Twitter, and Twitter can't handle it because it's so... They don't know, they can't defend against it because they're literally getting called out in it.
Jennifer literally says that, and I will be completely honest, that's going to be one of my top 5
hilarious.
things.
It's hilarious.
My number 5, this is perfect. It lines up very much with you. It's the feel. I specifically said the humor. So from the end credit scenes with Megan Thee Stallion, I learned it's the Stallion this week.
It's
not
the.
You
gotta say the.
To Madison and Wong's hangout time. I laugh at the show constantly. It's really, really funny. Emil's case had a ton of laughs of it in episode 3, especially with like the soulmates in the background, that they're all self-aware of each other. It wasn't like they're all mad that they found out. Like, no, they're very aware they're all his soulmates. It's really fun to have a super funny show that surrounds Jennifer, who takes herself seriously as like this lawyer, but these comical things happen and she's slowly embracing it. And I think that's a big point that Bruce was trying to tell to Jennifer in like episode 1 is like, no, you're in this world now. Like this crazy stuff is going to happen. You have responsibilities. So Jennifer's slowly going from like that lawyer to becoming a lawyer in a superhuman division to having to like change to be She-Hulk to go into the office to like, yep, I'm about to go make out with this dude, and now I'm going to go fight some like little weird creature gremlin things. The humor of the show has been perfect. It's exactly what you said. People say that the MCU is the same freaking thing every time. Phase 4 is proving that completely wrong. And I like that we're having these different genres. We had the horror-ish element with Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. We have this weird, I don't even know what you'd call it, kind of humor, but kind of dark and twisted with WandaVision. Now we're getting this awesome just comedy special, basically, with She-Hulk, where you get that new character every week, new little problem, and it's just fun, and you get to see little cameos from MCU heroes, so I love it.
I've never seen The Sopranos, so I got The Sopranos spoiled for me.
That was very funny.
I thought that was very
people
funny.
Were real. Like, I thought people were joking around about that on Twitter. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun on Twitter.
People are actually mad about it.
I was like, are you kidding me now?
It has been
are you kidding me?
20 years. Get over yourselves.
I will say, does this open up the multiverse now that like HBO Max exists in Disney Plus? So we get to now cover House of the Dragon? He had HBO Max on. Had HBO Max on. 100% Wong was watching HBO Max. He doesn't even watch Disney Plus.
Because Disney probably doesn't exist in the MCU.
Correct.
It's probably Marvel Land or something like that.
There's I think there's a reference to Mickey Mouse. Oh no, Disney definitely exists. Snow White is in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The kids are
Yes.
watching Snow White and Seven Dwarfs.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
That's hilarious. Okay.
You're number 4,
There
Cliff.
we go. Where do I want to put this? I'll go with something you also said, so it flows well. And it's really about Jennifer. She doesn't really come to terms with being She-Hulk a lot until she can exploit it in episode 4, where it's the dating profile, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna be shallow. I'm gonna be She-Hulk on whatever Marvel Tinder is. There was a name for it, but I forget. And
Yeah.
I think it's leading towards. So we know She-Hulk is probably going to be a one-off season. It's probably a lot
I
of that's
hope
what
not.
I. I mean, we have been told by Mark Ruffalo that you're not going to see an Avengers movie without She-Hulk. We know
Which
she's
is
going to
good.
be fairly prominent in the MCU. I have a very interesting feeling that by the end of it, by episode 9, there's not going to be a Jennifer. I think that she's going to be full She-Hulk all the time.
Oh, that better not happen.
And I think, at least for some part of it, something could happen and it could be her. Because I think that would be a really interesting thing where she now has to come to terms with only being green. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it would
Yeah,
be.
but like,
She likes the whole thing where she can turn it off. And I think her dealing with it, because she's been avoiding it. She knows that she can just turn it off and ignore it if she has to. Where her dealing with it, and she can obviously turn back. We know that there's technology now that lets them turn between Hulk and not Hulk. I think that would be an interesting plot point for her to come to terms with not having the chance to escape She-Hulk. That would be interesting as well. But I don't know if we're going to see that in the comedy. But her not coming to terms with it and only using it at the moment just to be like, oh, I can use it for this and then ignore it for the rest of it is going to be, it's interesting to see how she handles it compared to like Bruce not having control over it.
so I've been reading some more She-Hulk lately, and I hope they don't, because that is a big part, is like the whole changing back and forth between Jennifer and She-Hulk, and her being able to do that at will, unlike Bruce. Well, now I guess no, Bruce even had to use that
He has
like
the
armor
machine,
thing.
yeah.
So I hope that we get both of them here. I will say I think episode 3 and 4 had the worst looking She-Hulk.
You are 110% correct.
Episode 3 especially. Episode 4, the apartment stuff, she looked fine. But like episode 3, there's like some scenes. I think it's a lighting thing. Like when she's in her corner office, it looks so fake right there. I think the lighting needs to be darker.
The end credit scene of episode 3, it looked great.
But there's like a part, it looked like she's talking to Wong and it looked terrible. But I can suspend disbelief because we're looking at a green giant. So my number 4 is the watered down version of the Wrecking Crew, which is band of supervillains in, like, I think they came from Thor originally, but they've been around. But I like that it was like the watered down version. It reminded me of like Shocker a little bit in Spider-Man Homecoming, where he's basically getting those tech basically from Toon, from the Vulture. It was funny and silly but I thought they were a good like first foe for Jen, because she really hasn't had to face any like thing. So I thought it was a good foe where it was like, oh my god, I'm this woman, I'm getting attacked by guys, and then she looks at the cameras like, wait a second, and then turns into She-Hulk and just dominates them. Now they do talk about a boss, and I want to just make this clear. I wrote this note before D23's announcements. So my speculation, and I think a lot of people also speculate too, that potentially we have these callbacks to the Incredible Hulk, which was not the Mark Ruffalo one. It was the one, obviously, that Mark Ruffalo replaced Edward Norton in. But that the leader could be the leader of the Wrecking Crew. And the leader in Marvel Comics that's his alter ego, but his real name is Samuel Stearns, who is played by Tim Blake Nelson in The Incredible Hulk. It was just announced today that Tim Blake Nelson will be, yesterday, that Tim Blake Nelson will be reprising his role as Samuel Stearns from Incredible Hulk in Captain America: New World Order. In that movie, his alter ego was Mr. Blue, if people remember. I know people probably skip that movie, but it's still worth it, especially now. But we did have Emil Blonsky come in, so could we see Samuel Stearns? I think that the fact that we're getting him in New World Order could potentially point that we're going to get him in this show. Or at least maybe he's an end credit that somehow maybe this relates back to Captain America, and maybe She-Hulk makes an appearance in that. Who knows? But it would be cool to see that return to the character, potentially.
Yes, I think that's who the villain is. I think we're seeing that the new overarching world villain is going to be Tim Blake Nelson's what's his name,
In
the leader is.
the leader, yeah,
Yes, I think
Samuel
he's going to be
Stearns.
the new human overworld villain. I think he's going to be a villain for a while. It's so weird because I love Tim Blake Nelson. He's an
Yeah.
incredible actor. I always think of Holes. I think it's probably the first
Yes.
movie I think of, and then Oh Brother Where Art Thou. So those are my two that I think of. So it's nice. I have never seen The Incredible Hulk. I am very open about that. So I technically have not watched all of the MCU movies.
You got to do that.
Technically, I have not. One day. One day I'll watch it. And that's going to go in. Well, yes, I think that's going to be interesting. So who's going to be the major villain? Because we
Right.
don't know that. I mean, we think it's Titania. I don't know if I like where we're going with Titania right now, but we can talk about that later if we want,
Yeah.
or next week or the week after, whatever. But what are we on? 3 or 4 or
Three.
three.
Number
My
three.
three is the social media aspect of it, and that got me laughing because they really just played copy paste from Twitter replies and having people go, especially through the social media videos. It was copy paste.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, and we were talking about it before, where it's like some people are like, "Oh, now I understand," and it's like, "Congratulations, you finally understand."
You got it.
But the last one, I'm not going to say it on air, but the last one had me actively laugh out loud because I'm like, so many people just are this thirst like that on Twitter, and I'm like, I enjoy the self awareness. I know not everyone likes it. Self awareness humor is not always fun for some people. Personally, I really like it. I like the breaking of the fourth wall, and I think
I
she
do
does it
too.
really well. And I think you need the right actor to do it. So Titania is really good at the flow of the acting for it. Same thing with Ryan Reynolds. They just know how to jump between it because you kind of have to change the whole demeanor of the character as well because it's
Right.
like when Jennifer breaks the fourth wall, she's different than who she is. She's very calm, she's sarcastic, and she's not as timid or awkward as she is in the actual world. So it's
Right.
really interesting to wonder like, does when Jennifer breaks the fourth wall, is it Jennifer breaking the fourth wall, or is it Titania knowing she's acting as Jennifer? Like, is it? There's you can get really weird with the
Yeah,
fourth
for
wall
sure.
break. But I just think I personally like this type of humor. It's not for everyone. I completely understand that. Some people don't get it. Some people don't like the breaking of immersion. I personally do. I think it's funny.
I do as well. It's been a really good time. My number three is I kind of brought this in my number five, but yeah, I just really want to say it. I really like the pace of each episode. I like that each episode could be a standalone episode besides the first one, because the first one, right, you get the backstory, but you could watch any of these in any order. There was even talks. I think one of these episodes, I think the Emil Blonsky episode was supposed to be like toward the end of the season. But you could put these in any order basically because it's a villain of the week or a case of the week kind of thing. That case gets solved within those 30 minutes, then something sets up the next thing. But you also have the humor in it too. But I like that everything is self-contained in one episode, where every other Marvel show up to this point has been you could sit down and watch the whole season and it's one long movie. Right now, I think that's going to happen with the show eventually, but it's smaller little nuggets in each episode. But I could just throw on the Emil Blonsky episode 3 episode just to have a good laugh at the sister wives thing. Not the soulmates, excuse me, is the word they used. Or I could go see Donnie Blaze in episode 4 and just watch that episode and then move on to something else. So I really like that aspect, that it's funny, concise, move on kind of thing. I really like that about the show. It knows what it is. It's a perfect sitcom.
Exactly, and that's the whole sitcoms can work individually unless there's a 2-part episode.
Yeah,
and that's what it's doing. So 2, we're getting towards the end. What's nice about these 2 episodes is, yes, they're standalone, but they have overarching things where Wong is a part of it, and that's what my number 2 is. It probably could be number 1, but it's like she said. Remember who this show's about. So my number 2 is Wong, because it just, if you know the comics, Wong is is portrayed in not a great light. Probably in recent years he has, but originally he isn't. And I really like how they're not backing away from the fact that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme. Because Doctor Strange, it's the whole thing where Doctor Strange usually expects to get everything he wants, but Wong is just as capable. He's very powerful, and Benedict Wong just brings this like perfect dry humor while also being fun. And seeing Wong kind of just like whenever something goes wrong, he just portals away, just does it, and you see Wong as just this like normal person that has these excessively powerful powers.
Yeah.
And the Wongers thing was really funny, where he was like, "Okay, I'm not getting rid of this girl. I'm just going to deal with it." And then and then afterwards, they're actually having like not date nights, but they're having like friend nights.
I hope they are.
Watching,
I hope they become date nights
where they're now watching Sopranos together, and she's spoiling everything for him. But he just always like Wong really just like makes it fun.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Doctor Strange. He was one of the best parts of the first movie, of the second movie, and he's really just becoming, well, he's in every single recent MCU project. But it's funny how he just does what he wants, and
Yeah.
if something doesn't go his way, he tries to correct it so it goes his way. But no, he has been he's oddly been one of the cornerstones of the newest phase of the MCU.
Yeah, he's everywhere. And Benedict Wong is such like a funny and personable guy too. I went to, I think it was Rhode Island Comic Con. Is when I saw him, either there or Boston Comic Con back in 2019. And he did a panel, and I went to it, and he was so funny, so personal. Was asking great questions, or got asked great questions. Was giving really funny but good answers too. So Benedict Wong, and that leads into my number two. The Madison and Wong relationship is the funniest thing I think in the MCU. Like I will put that up there with Guardians moments. I'll put that up there with Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder moments. It is hilarious because you have that funny dichotomy of Wong being this super serious Sorcerer Supreme, and then Madison is half in the bag every time we see her. That poor girl, having the time of her life. You know, that's what your 20s are for. But it's just funny. Like, again, it reminds me of what this is like. It's very similar to MCU, right? Like, this is an MCU. People take it really seriously. It's this action adventure show, but then it has funny moments in it. And you have this really serious guy in Wong, just like the rest of the MCU, or some like fanboys want it to be. But then you have these funny moments with Madison, and like Wong and Madison is basically the relationship of the MCU movies, I feel like, together. So really, really great. Long live Madison and Wong. I hope I get invited to their wedding one day. And maybe I'll be the godfather of their child, because I want to do that.
Well, that took a very...
I love them. I love them together. I want them to be best friends. I want them to go to a spa. You know when you've watched Parks and Rec, right?
Of course.
When Donna and oh my god, what's his name?
Ben?
Tom. Nope, Tom. But they take Ben to Treat Yourself Day.
Yes.
That's what I see, is Wong is Ben and Donna is Madison, and that's what I want.
I could see that. I could see that. I wonder if she's gonna be in more of the MCU.
She better be. I want her everywhere. Everywhere.
Everywhere. It's her universe.
I want a Madison what if that she becomes Iron Man.
Oh wow. Well, we're getting a new Iron Man in when
Fair.
does Black Panther come out?
November, yeah.
November. So we're getting our new Iron Man. So yeah, maybe that what if will be, or if anything, it would be what if she became the Sorceress Supreme. That'd be funny.
Fair.
My number one. This is tough. I have been enjoying the lawyer stuff. I think I'll go with, because it's called She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing something early on where it was like they wanted more court scenes, but they didn't know how to write the court scenes, and people were clowning them for that. And I think they're doing a fine job with it. It's more comedy courtroom than like what an actual courtroom is. But like all the courtroom scenes have just been very entertaining. Like the Asgardian wizard, warlock, whatever she was turning herself into all the people, and then like pretended to be the judge, and even her lawyer was yelling at her for that.
Yeah, like, just relax, stop it.
Stop it. It's illegal to impersonate a judge.
Yes.
And it just keeps it fresh. Like you said, these episodes have a very good flow. They don't feel too long. They don't feel like they're overbearing. And it's perfect. Just sit down, you watch, you enjoy it, and you move on. And keeping it with the Attorney at Law stuff is still is what I want to see. We're obviously next week with Titania serving her for copyright infringement is going to be mostly probably a courtroom scene. I'm guessing it's going to end with them trying to fight each other.
And I would love that.
We will wait and see. But like I said, I don't know how I feel about the Titania stuff yet. We haven't really seen her yet, so we'll wait and figure out what's happening. But I would say number one is the attorney at law stuff in the courtroom, and I'm hoping we see more of it. I would love an episode where it's all in the courtroom. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'm going to go with that.
So my number one is going to be something that you said, I guess, already. So we're pretty locked up with episode 3 and 4, but the fourth wall breaks in both episodes especially have been perfect. Mm-hmm. I mentioned before, I've been reading a lot more She-Hulk comics these last few weeks, just trying to get into it. I feel like I do that, especially with like characters like Moon Knight that I only knew in the Precipitary for. Same with She-Hulk. She-Hulk I knew a little bit more from like some Fantastic Four comic runs I've read. And so especially some Avengers comics, but reading the Dan Slott She-Hulk comics has been really great. And they're really in line with what the character is, like especially with the fourth wall breaks. Jennifer's perfect. She's a perfect, like Miss Marvel was. I thought Kamala was a great page-to-screen adaptation. I think Jennifer Walters / She-Hulk is a great page-to-screen, adaptation. I just love the episode 4, the first wall break, where like, oh cool, like you guys are probably so happy about Wong, and that gives us some Twitter armor for the week. This show knew what it was. These people are smart. They're not dumb. They're not gonna put the show on and be like, oh, people are gonna love this, and then you have idiot fanboys who trash on it. Like they know. No, we know who our fans are. There's some great loyal fans. Like I think me and you, Cliff, that we love this stuff. And then you're gonna have the idiots like, oh, they made Hulk a girl now. Like what the
language?
Excuse my language.
Hey,
sorry.
Come
sorry.
on.
But there are people that say that.
Language.
Sorry. And no, they know what they are. And I like that a lot. That Marvel understands that there are idiots out there, and let's just spoon feed them. Because here's the thing. These idiots who hate on Marvel, they're watching every show anyway. They're watching every second. They'll probably watch Werewolf by Night or whatever it's called more than I will. Because I don't think it looks very good, but I'll probably end up loving it eventually. We'll see what happens.
That's my bet. You're gonna end up loving it. I'm excited for that one.
I mean, the same thing happened with Guardians of the Galaxy. I had no intention. That Guardians of the Galaxy was probably the only Marvel movie since Avengers that I did not see in theaters. Because I was like, I just said this looks dumb and I don't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy is. So I never saw it in theaters. I saw it at home for the first time and I was like, what an idiot. I didn't go to see this in theaters.
I think I saw Guardians in theaters.
I've seen every movie since then in theaters, but not that one.
I don't remember. I can't remember what I see.
So I'll probably end up liking
I know,
that one.
How stupid is Guardians of the Galaxy, where towards the end, in the most pinnacle part of it, Star-Lord tries to have a dance battle with the main villain.
You know?
What an
craziness.
What an idiot. It's Brie Larson was right. Brie Larson was right. That's the best way to put it.
Cliff, that is our episode. Where can the nice people find you on Twitter if they want to say nice things to you, not dummy things?
You can say mad things to me. I'll fight back. You can find me at CPRobinson81.
Sorry, my turn.
Yeah.
Usually you say, Cam, where can they find you? So I was waiting for that. You can find me on Twitter at CamRamos95. You can find another podcast on Twitter at Stream the Mouse, on Facebook and Instagram at Streaming with the Mouse. You can find us on our YouTube channel, Streaming with the Mouse, as well as our Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, all the above. Please make sure to like, review, 5-star, subscribe, all the above to those podcasts so we get more ears and eyeballs on this podcast. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with a recap of episode 5 and 6 of Marvel Studios She-Hulk. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, Cliff. I will talk to you.